Hello, I'm Lindley Gooden. Welcome to MoneyLive TV. We're here with André from Crossjoin Solutions. Great to have you here. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having us here.
Great to have you here. Just tell us a bit about Crossjoin, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure. So we're in the market since 2009.
Yeah.
We've been focusing a lot on optimizing IT systems, right? On all verticals, including banking and the finance sector.
Yeah.
And we find it really interesting to see all this technology, all these boots, and we still have a problem to solve that not many people are looking into. So it's great to be here.
Well, we're here at MoneyLive Summit. I wonder, are you here to sell, or are you here to listen? Are you here to have a chat with people?
I'm here to do both, right?
Yeah.
So the compelling thing about our use case is that we have a lot of customers that would be your typical CDO, CIO, your operations director, but also people who are in the actual boots.
Yeah.
So people who are actually selling software are also our target as well. So it's a fun business.
So what for you at Crossjoin Solutions, what are the big issues facing banking at the moment? What are the things that come up again and again and again?
For us, it's mainly cost, right?
Okay.
So people have been doing all these great things with technology, right? Yeah. So all the new AI trends, in the past it was big data, then microservices, then all the technologies.
Yeah.
But in the end, right, someone will look at the invoice and want to get that cost down.
Yeah.
And that's where we come in, right? So not only from a financial perspective, we can drill down all the way to the technical bits and give you a prescription of what exactly you need to do to get those operational costs down.
Yeah.
Either by reviewing some configurations, sometimes it's simple, right? But sometimes it requires looking at engineering and how teams are thinking about the deployments and the processes themselves to actually get the cost down.
There are two E's in that equation. There's efficiency, but also effectiveness, to make sure that your solutions are really going to apply in the real world. How do you get there?
So it's actually more than that, right? So we usually talk about non-functional requirements, right? So non-functional requirements are things like resiliency, performance, quality, security, and so on, which, funny enough, right, if you ask anyone, everyone always looks at these things at the beginning of the projects, and then pressure starts building up.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing that goes out the door, right? Because you need to get the software out fast. You need to get some product delivered to your customer. But then that's when it comes, right? When you get into production, when you get to the second day operations, you're like, oh, this is costly,
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not the team to blame. Sometimes it's actually not the process to blame, but it's a natural occurrence of the whole thing.
So how do you find that? How do you discover the real issue that can save you save costs, but also do business better? So what are you doing? Are you digging layer by layer by layer down with the clients, or are you...
So it kind of depends on what the problem is. So typically what we want to do is to formulate the problem statement with the customer, right? It needs to be something that we understand, the customer understands, and more importantly, that the customer team understands, right? So there are very, very few cases where we solve the problem alone, right? So you need someone who knows the system, someone who actually participated in building the system. So we do have technical people. I'm a technical guy as well, but I am more successful when the customer team is successful.
Yes,
right.
Yes,
and that's what we focus our business on, right?
In some ways, software sales and software development can be a bit transactional, especially in AI. You're kind of plugging a gap, but you're not really the integration is in some ways quite targeted.
It is.
Do you find, with any of your products in mind, do you find that there is a wider solution that you work with your clients on? Do you work differently so that you can really understand what makes them tick?
Yeah, notice I like to think about them as solving a problem.
Yeah.
Right. So in the end of the day, you want to solve a problem. Either it's AI, either you don't need AI, right? Yeah. So it's all about solving for the customer problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's the only way you're going to get the cost down. That's the only way you're going to be, imagine, right-sizing your brain to what you need to tackle. What we see a lot of customers that do technology first.
Yes.
And it's great, right? So you have your own teams, you have your own discovery. In the end of the day, if you solve for technology, most of the time you're not solving the right problem.
Yeah. Really interesting. It's a different way of looking at it. Tell us about dependable systems and why Crossjoin are so focused on that idea.
Sure. That's a funny story, actually, because it took us a while to explain what we do, right? Yeah. Because it started with performance and optimization. And that's what most of our customers will tell you, that they know Crossjoin. We're typically known as the Mission Impossible guys, right? It's the guys...
Where's your harness?
It's this, imagine. So you have a really hard time as an operations director, for example, sleeping at night.
Yeah.
You feel like squeezing a stress ball. That's when you know you need to call us.
Right.
That's the right moment. You need to pick up the phone and get us in line.
Excellent.
For the good and for the bad, that does happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, final thing really about building long-term client relationships. I mean, you've explained to us that it's slightly different the way that you work. You're going to work, even in a meeting, you might work with them on the solution that's coming up. What's the key to long-term relationships, do you feel? Particularly when we look at AI and we look at those systems that are the talk of the town, how do you build that longer-term human relationship?
It's solving the problem, right? So getting the costs down, making sure people are sleeping at night, they will remember you, right? So what is the most memorable thing you have? Then you're getting into a production system and saying, look, the team is all sleeping at night.
Yeah.
My customers are happy and my costs are reasonable for what I'm doing, right? You don't need a lot more.
Sounds like pretty good business to me.
It is.
André, lovely to have you. Thank you for joining us. That was really good to have you here.
Yeah.
And that's it for now from MoneyLive TV, streaming the future of banking. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.